All right, everybody, welcome to the JK Theory. Here we talk about anything and everything. No topic is left untouched, no stone is left unturned. We give you the raw, real, and uncut. And before we get into today's topic, I'm Jay,
Okay.
and this is the JK Theory. So, today's episode is going to be a special one. We're actually going to pay homage to the late, great Selena Quintanilla. Yup, he's got the shirt on. She's definitely one of the greats. She was gone way too early. And rather than hearing, about Selena from a male perspective, we figured we get a female perspective. So we got Chachi that's going to be joining us, and stay tuned, guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Here we go. All right, everybody. So we got Chachi with us, and she's going to be our Selena go-to person. So we're just going to have a quick few questions about Selena. So we've all seen the movie, right? If you guys haven't seen the movie, definitely check it out. So we kind of know about her upbringing, but let's just talk a little bit about the relationship between Yolanda and Selena, because as far as I thought, she was like a family member and they were helping her out, but you've got a little bit more insight on that. So can you tell us a little bit about Yolanda?
Sure. So hold on. I just get so upset every time I think about Yolanda Saldivar. Um, so let's just acknowledge what today is. Right. Today is March 31st, 2025. And Selena was unalived on March 31st, 1995. It's been 30 years since Yolanda Saldivar unalived Selena Quintanilla Perez. Um, she was a super fan, and a lot of people don't agree with that term, but I feel that in the circumstances that they met each other, Selena was performing with her family, Selena y los Dinos, and Yolanda Saldivar took her family to go see her, and then later approached her, met her, and said, I am a fan and I would love to start a fan club for you. And we know back in the 90s, the fan club was everything. It was like the VIP, and it was free. You didn't have to pay for a membership. So people got exclusive merch, exclusive autographs,
Wow.
um, articles, magazines, pictures. Sometimes they'd even get like a piece of like something that she's worn or a lipstick, just any type of memorabilia for free. As long as you're a loyal fan, you're writing, you're supporting, and they did accept donations as well. So they did fundraisers. Um, but Yolanda was the one that was in charge of everything. And so her family was super on board, and they would have Selena and her family come over and do lunches and dinners, and they'd have family outings and come up with ideas and brainstorm on how can we support the cause? How can we support Selena and Los Dinos? They're going to be the next big thing. We want to make sure that we help them at all costs. What does that sound like to you? That sounds like a fan, right?
Yeah, super fan, absolutely. You're willing to devote your
Okay.
time and everything? Yeah,
Am I wrong for saying that?
absolutely not.
It's a
Absolutely not.
super fan, So she was a super fan, and she was very much in the mix. And because they seen how successful this fan club was, they were like, she seems like a really good person. She has a great heart. She believes in us. She's putting in her own money, her own energy, her own time, making her own family work towards this cause. She must be a great person, right? So they started inviting Yolanda to shows and to events that Selena had to go to. And there was even one time where Selena had to go to LA, and she had no one to go with her. Like, all her family was busy. No one can travel with her. She hated going anywhere by herself. So Selena's dad, Abraham Quintanilla, called Yolanda Saldivar and was like, hey, can you go with her to LA?
Wow.
And really, yeah, really, that's the trip that made them get super close. Like, they were going everywhere together. They'd go to nightclubs together. They'd go to the mall, they'd get their feet done, they would go out to eat. Like they were just two peas in a pod, you know. And so, a couple years of her being in that inner circle, Selena decided to open a boutique because her heart was in music, but it was also in fashion. Like, she's a fashion icon. So, she opened up her boutique and she hired Yolanda to be an employee. Because, mind you, before Yolanda was this like super fan, in circle type of girl, she was a nurse and she got her nursing degree. She graduated. She was the first in her family to graduate from college and get a degree. And Selena said, "No, I don't want you to go back to nursing. I want to make sure you're good. And you're one of my best friends. I trust you. So I'm going to hire you and you're going to work at the boutique." And so her role really was taking care of finances, was overseeing operations, overseeing money transactions and things like that, because of course Selena trusted her. You know, she's a major artist, she has to travel, she has like photo shoots, she has
Right.
shows, TV appearances, so of course she needed to build that team. And aside from Yolanda working there, she also had her sister Suzette. She was working there. There was also another stylist, Mauricio Garcia, which is the um, designer. So he would do all the illustrations. Selena had all the ideas. She would have someone partner with her to do the illustrations and bring these designs to life. So he was there, and they all had an office at the Selena boutique. And
So
his
she had
office,
a team then.
she had a good team. Like he was a very great designer. He was up and coming. He was like around 27 or so, and he had just booked his like major client with Nordstrom. So he was up and coming. They had their eye on them, and him and Selena hit it off really, really well. So he's actually responsible for her dress at the Grammys, her dress
Mhm.
or her jumpsuit, the purple jumpsuit that she wore at her last concert. That was
Yes.
one of their designs.
Wow.
Yeah. And if anyone has like their merch from the 90s, on the tag itself says his name and it says Selena's name on there too.
Oh, that's
So
dope.
yeah, it's really dope. I wish. I wish. This just says Selena. It doesn't say any of that. Thanks to Walmart. But I but I mean, I honestly feel that they heard and seen more of Yolanda than Selena did when it came to the business aspect. So things were happening. Um, things were getting unpaid. They were getting calls saying, "Hey, we never got a check for this. There is an invoice out for this." And so word started getting around. Things were being brought up. Yolanda was being questioned. And this happened for a short period of time, but people were catching on. And one of those people was Selena's sister, Suzette. So Suzette brought it to light, brought it to Selena's dad because he's the manager. He's still her manager, even though she's big. He managed her since she was a kid, all of them, really. So she brought it up to Selena's dad. They ended up having a family meeting discussing all these discrepancies, all these unpaid invoices, these weird checks that are written out, some of them to cash, some of them were written out for fundraising, and things just going missing. And so they had this family meeting. Selena is still standing by her friend. She's still like, "I know Yolanda, she wouldn't do this. There has to be an explanation for everything." And Suzette and Abraham are like, "I don't think I trust her. Something's up. There's too many calls that we're getting. There's not enough paper trail. Something is up. You need to talk to your friend." And so that's what happened. Selena approaches Yolanda. They had a heated conversation. Abraham has also talked to Yolanda at a couple of times now, to the point where Yolanda feels threatened and she feels that possibly, allegedly, that Abraham wanted to unalive her,
Mm.
wanted to figure out some type of way to get her away because Selena would not back down. This was her best friend. So Yolanda felt very threatened, in which she went and purchased a firearm. There are there is a paper trail of her going to the shooting range, trying this gun out.
Oh my
Um,
God.
there's paper trail of her purchasing a gun. There's reports of the sales clerk and how she's asking, what type of gun is this? What is it good for? How many bullets do I need? There's so many reports now that are just available to the public. And so she carried that around allegedly because she felt that Abraham Quintanilla was going to hurt her and was going to unalive her. So she had a gun with her all times at this point. She ended up having to take a trip, and she was so paranoid. She felt like cars were following her, that people were following her. And she took a trip to grab some of this important paperwork. On her way back from this trip, she allegedly was jumped by two men, unknown men. Allegedly was jumped inside of a public bathroom. And mind you, the gun is in the car. If I'm paranoid and if I have a weapon to defend myself, anything to defend myself, I'm not leaving that anywhere. Even if I gotta go to the bathroom, like, you're coming with me. It's a public place. You're coming with me. I ain't leaving you in the car, you know? But
Absolutely.
apparently, apparently, uh, she wasn't threatened in the bathroom. She didn't feel threatened in the bathroom. So these two men jumped her. She goes back. She's on her way back to Texas. She calls Selena from a public phone and she tells Selena, I just got jumped. Your dad sent these men. I just got jumped. I'm paranoid. I can't go home right now. Selena says, go into the Days Inn at Corpus Christi and I will meet you there and I will figure out what's going on. So she gets to the
So,
hotel.
hang on, hang on. So this woman, late 30s.
Yolanda is in her late 30s. Selena's in her early 20s.
So this woman in her late 30s gets jumped by two grown men
Yep.
and is still strong enough to leave, call
Drive.
Selena, drive, call Selena, let her know what's going on, doesn't check herself in the hospital, somebody doesn't find her bloodied on the floor. If you're getting jumped and somebody wants you dead, you would have died. Like they got the opportunity right there.
Or at least some type of scarring, bruising,
There's no bruises.
blood, something,
Oh my.
you know? And if you're getting jumped and you feel threatened and you feel like someone's out to get me, to unalive me, wouldn't you be like fighting for dear life? Wouldn't
Absolutely.
you be
Why did
like
she call the cop?
screaming and yeah, but that's where allegedly
Do you know
uh
where she got jumped? Like, was it a truck stop? Was it like
I believe it was like oh, I have to double check. I believe it was like a public restaurant, or no, I'm sorry, it was like a truck stop.
hmm,
There was a gas station, there was like a little store there. They stopped to use the bathroom. So they drove from Texas to Mexico to grab this paperwork. And then on her way back, she stopped somewhere. She got jumped in the bathroom. She drives a little bit, calls Selena from a public phones. They don't have cell phones. You can't send a text message. It wasn't as easy as it is now to get in
this is
communication with
back in the
someone.
this is back in the 1900s.
This is back in 1995. Where if you had a cell phone, it was obviously because you had money, right? But she didn't have no money. you
Yeah,
know, she didn't have no money. That's the whole problem. Where's the money? She didn't have no money to buy a cell phone, a brick phone at that. And so she drives back. She calls Selena, says what's happening. Selena tells her, "I'm gonna meet you at the Days Inn. Like, it's okay. Don't worry. I'll meet you there." Selena then pulls up at the Days Inn in Corpus Christi with her husband, Chris Perez, who stays in the car. She goes inside the hotel room and she's like, what happened? Like, who jumped you? What's going on? And allegedly, Yolanda saying, your dad sent these people out to get me. They've been following me on my way there, on my way back. And Selena's like, we're taking you to the hospital. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how seriously hurt you are. You are older. We need to get you checked out. They go to the hospital in Corpus Christi. There's reports from the nurses there that are saying that she is telling a whole different story. She's like, no, I got hurt a couple days ago. I fell. Um, one was, I fell, I stumbled on something. And so Selena's in the room and she's looking at Yolanda like, that's not what you just told me. We're here because you said you got jumped by two men. And the nurses are studying Selena's body language and they're noticing how she's getting uncomfortable and she's also like putting pieces together. So the nurses have also spoken out. There's reports of the nurses that they're explaining Selena's body language and they're just like, can you make sure her head is okay? Can you make sure her vitals are fine? Is she okay? You know, she's just being a concerned friend, but she's also like putting two and two together. Like, why isn't this making sense? You're telling me a different story than you're telling the nurses. If it's not that serious, then we should never be here, right? But because you said you got jumped, I just want to make sure you're okay. They ended up leaving the hospital and they go back to the hotel room. Selena drops her off and she says, I'll be here in the morning. We'll discuss the paperwork and I'll just make sure you're okay in the morning. That next morning is March 31st, 1995. And Selena goes by herself
Hold on,
to.
hold on, hold on. So let's just give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's
Mm,
just say it's true. Let's say she got jumped, right?
yeah,
Why would you go back to Corpus Christi, where their family lives? You just got jumped, accordingly, by two men that were sent by her dad.
that were sent,
And
right.
you're gonna stay in the same town. Dude, I'm going the hell out of Dodge. Like, I'm out. Like, no, here's your paperwork. Call me if something happens.
You know, I feel that sometimes people tell you such a good story that they're the only ones to believe it, you know? And so it made sense in her head. I'm going to say that I got hurt so that that's a distraction from what's really happening. You know, I'm going to lose Selena anyway. I'm going to lose my job anyway. I feel that this was definitely premeditated. I feel that she had this whole storyline built up from the moment that they asked her to come in and talk about the missing money, the embezzlement. And sometimes with people that are obsessive compulsive, they do that. They have a tendency of retracing or I'm sorry, um, rehashing the events over and over and over again to the point of compulsion, so where it's like nonstop. I'm paranoid now because now I know that you're questioning me for this money. I know that you're going to be angry with me if you don't find this money, but you're also going to be angry if I don't come back with paperwork. And how can I defuse this situation other than making you feel sorry for me? And I feel like that's what she did. You know, she came up with this storyline. She brought a family member with her in the car because she was so paranoid, but also to like add on to this alibi. Like, oh, but she was with me. You can ask her. You know, she's seen me bruised up or she's seen me, something. Like you just kind of have to add people in to become more credible, right? Um, but I honestly do feel that this is a this was something to soften the blow. No pun intended. This was one of those where she's like, I know that Selena still genuinely cares about me. I know that somewhere deep down inside, my best friend is still there, and she'll still believe anything that I'm saying, like regardless of what's happening. But also
Do
the
you, do
fact of,
you would you say that that Selena was gullible, or that Yolanda definitely Just took advantage of her friendship and her kindness.
Both. I'd say Selena was definitely gullible. I mean, I've seen so many interviews of Selena where she always talked about the light in people. She always like talked about the most positive things with people. When it came to Yolanda, she was just always so grateful to have someone like her. And I think it's one because she was older, so she kind of seen her as like a big sister in a sense. And she also seen how before all this fame, before all this money, she was there. So
She
it's kind of like she won her over.
gotcha. Okay,
You know,
so let's get back. So it's March 31st, 1995. Go ahead, lay it out.
March 9th. Okay, yep. So March 31st, 1995, Selena pulls up by herself. Um, they have this argument where, according to Yolanda, she was trying to give her 2 weeks notice, and Selena's like, "No, you're not gonna quit. Like you're not quitting. I need you here. We'll figure out whatever's happening. I need you. Like you're not leaving me." And Yolanda's like, I tried to serve you. I tried to send you a paper through FedEx and let you know because I'm afraid of your family. I'm afraid of what they're going to do. No one believes me, just being very, um,
Victim shaming.
yeah, in a way. And no one actually really knows what that argument was about. The only person that can tell is Yolanda. Like she's the only one that's alive that was in that room that can say what that argument was about, right? So from what we know, the argument was about Yolanda quitting, Selena saying no. The paperwork was in the safe inside of Yolanda's purse in the hotel room. The paperwork never made it out of that safe. The gun was also in the safe. Why did the gun make it out before the paperwork when the argument was about the paperwork and was about you went to Mexico to get this paperwork. This is what I'm coming for, and this is what I'm asking you about. Give this to me. But yet the gun never left the safe. Or I'm sorry, the paperwork never left the safe. The gun did. So as Selena is about to leave, and she's telling her, Yolanda, like, I can't believe this is happening right now. We're supposed to be best friends. Yolanda pulls that gun out and she's trying to unalive herself. And Selena's telling her, put it down. Like, no, what are you doing? You're acting crazy right now. And she's just like, no, like I have nothing else to live for. And just you can already imagine the dramatics with that. I mean, I not to desensitize a moment like that, but at the same time, we know the outcome. So just imagine what was said for it to even get to that point where a gun is being brought out. And so she's she's saying she's gonna unalive herself. Selena's like, no, I can't do this. You know, you can't do this. I can't do this. Put it down. What is wrong with you? Like you're being dramatic right now. And I feel that in a moment like that, you kind of have the fight or flight response. If you've never really been around something like that and you're under pressure, some people literally will leave. They have the flight or they have the fight, response. And again, we don't really know what caused her to leave other than she left because she either felt threatened, she was threatened, or she went to go get help for Yolanda because she pointed a gun out. And as Selena's leaving, Yolanda had shot her in the back. And Selena then has enough strength to run out of the hotel room, across a small patch of grass, and then into the lobby of the Days Inn at Corpus Christi. and has enough energy to say, room, blah, 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 Yolanda. Yolanda shot me. So immediately they go over to her. She's bleeding. She's holding on to her back. She's bleeding all over the lobby floor. They call 911. And even in that 911 call, they really don't even know who this is. They're like, this lady is shot. She's in the lobby of the hotel room, and the operator asks, "Who shot her? Like, what's the name? Did you get a name?" And she says, "Yolanda." And you can hear Selena in the background saying, "Yolanda shot me."
Oh,
It's so sad. It's so sad. It is out there. You can look it up. The video of her leaving the hotel room,
wait, the
getting
footage is out
shot.
there?
It's out there.
Holy
I've seen
cow.
it,
I
unfortunately.
just got
It's out
chills.
there. It is definitely out there. And it didn't just stop there. So ambulance come, they grab Selena. Unfortunately, she passed away at the hospital. She was still alive when they came. They were trying to stop the bleeding, get her heartbeat regular, and unfortunately, she passed at the hospital. But they had a 9-hour standoff with Yolanda, who was in her truck with the same weapon, trying to unalive herself. And so she was saying, and she in exactly, unalive herself. In that video, which is out there, the standoff is also out there. You can hear the conversation that she's having with the detective, and the detective is trying to de-escalate the situation, make sure that no one else gets harmed, of course. And she's like, nobody's gonna believe me. No one's gonna believe me. Like, I just unalived my friend. Like, this was a misunderstanding. I didn't mean to. I didn't realize the gun went off. So she's saying things like this, and this is 9 hours of her in this truck, this red truck, at the parking lot of the Days Inn in Corpus Christi. And they're just trying to de escalate it. And people are, because Corpus Christi is so small, word is traveling so fast. There were like 20 people out there. Then there was 100. Then there was thousands of people surrounding her car. There's a whole police unit, but then there's fans, outraged fans surrounding, like almost the whole town is out there surrounding her. Because again, at this point, people just know that Selena was shot. They don't know that she was unalived, you know? So after 9 hours, they finally convince her to get out the car. They tackle her down. They put jackets on top of her, and she goes to jail. And so on March 27th of this year, she was denied parole. So she's going to have to sit for 5 more years. And in 2020 or 2030, she'll be up for parole again. And we'll see how that goes. But a lot of people are saying she's better off in there than she would be out here. And I don't blame them.
So if she happens to get out, she'll be like what, 65?
She'll
Was
be up
she
there.
was 30
It's been
something?
30 years. It's
So
been 30 years.
Be close to
So
70.
wow, like 70
like
something.
almost 70.
That's crazy. I'm yeah, I'm surprised nothing's happened to her in jail. I mean, as far as we know,
She's in
As far
protective
as
custody.
exactly.
for
And I
30
feel
years
that,
PC.
yeah. Well, think about it. People that I'm sure that she's now in like some type of low security jail. I don't think that she's like on high watch or high alert or anything. But with that being said, she's still being watched. There's still security on her. I mean, the fans will never stop being fans. There's people our age right now that we remember everything, but the fans that grow for Selena is by the minute, like by the hour, by the day. Like there's so many fans, and as much as they're infatuated with Selena and her career and her outcome, or I'm sorry, and her career, who she is, the icon that she is, then it goes to, but who unalived her? Who is that? Where is she at? And so that gains more popularity or as equal as Selena and who she was, you
Yeah, I
know.
mean, I remember hearing even just recently. There's so many comedians that are like, I can't trust her. She looks like the lady that did, Selena bad. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
that reference is still out.
tell me. You know, it's so funny because I've seen so many interviews of the lady that played Selena in the movie,
Oh my
and
God.
you know, it's so hard for her to catch any jobs because of that. Because people still associate her as the lady that played Yolanda in the Selena movie.
Yeah, I believe it. That's
So hard.
crazy. I mean,
It's so hard.
seriously, if it wasn't for Selena, J Lo would not be that big star that she was.
No.
I mean, J Lo mimicked her and copied her and had her down to a T. That even after the movie was done, Jennifer was still copying her mannerisms and the way she laughed and did
Yep.
all her stuff. Like it took a long time for everybody to separate Jennifer
Oh
Lopez
yeah.
to Selena.
Oh yeah.
And even now, where if you go on TikTok, there's so many lookalikes and people
There's
still singing
so
her song.
many.
Even little kids, like
There's a Cuban lady that's called the Cuban Selena, and she's been doing a lot more interviews. She looks just like her.
is she the one with the deep voice?
Yes.
Yeah, I seen her. Yep.
She looks so much like her that I had to stop watching her videos at one point because I got so emotional and kind of freaked out. Like, I'm like, and it wasn't until I heard her talk where I was like, oh, this ain't her. Okay.
Yeah.
You know? But because she, like, her mannerisms, the way she dresses, her body type, everything, there was even like a talk show that had Chris Perez, Selena's husband, on there,
I
and
saw
they
that.
introduced him to the Cuban Selena, and he was like in awe. He kept staring at her.
Yeah. I
It's so
saw behind the scenes they had to stop filming because he wanted to cry. Like he just couldn't even look at her.
yeah,
It's nuts.
yeah, yeah.
So that's happened, right? So we wanted to get a female's perspective. So you obviously grew up listening to Selena,
Yeah.
watching her and stuff. So what was your takeaway from that as a kid?
So Selena died when I was 2, and the craziest thing about it is that I became a super fan at like around that age. I didn't even know exactly what had happened, but I knew that it was something big because it was nonstop on the news. Everyone was talking about it. There were so many like documentaries, there was so many homages that were being made, and it was like every year someone was talking about Selena or someone was talking about Yolanda. And it wasn't until right before the movie came out, I actually went over one of my mom's friend's house, and her daughter had a scrapbook. Well, we call it scrapbooking now, but she had a trapper keeper.
Yeah.
And in that trapper keeper, she had newspaper articles, magazines, clippings. She had pictures, stickers, like anything Selena y los Dinos, anything Selena, and she blessed me with it. And she was like, "Here, you look like the girl that plays Selena." And I was like, "Huh? Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "You look like her. It's young Selena." So shortly after the movie came out, and I was like, "Oh, I have a trapper keeper full of this lady. Like, who is she?" And so little by little, I started falling in love with Selena. And then when I seen the movie, because I'm a little kid, I didn't realize that that was Jennifer Lopez playing Selena. I thought they were the same person.
Right.
And the older I got, I was like, wait a minute, no, 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 Selena, this is Selena. Like she's actually the queen of Tejano music. Okay, you know, she looks like me. She comes from a musically inclined family, as do I on my dad's side. everyone did music growing up. They had cover bands, they played live music, there was singers, like, and so I grew up around that and I was like, whoa, she's a brown skinned girl that's making music. And I'm a brown skinned girl and I can sing and I have a band that I go see all the time. And so just growing up, having someone to relate to in the mainstream and just having someone so beautiful, so passionate in performing, like that really put its mark on me and it made me sing. And I always say I sing and I do music because of Selena. Like she taught me everything I know. She taught me stage presence. She taught me how to sing with passion. She taught me vocal ranges. She taught me how to actually interact with your audience, how to keep their attention, you know, how to compose yourself, how to be classy and sophisticated on stage. You know, how you don't have to show too much. You know, you can still be an artist, be a woman, but being a woman is your secret power, you know. And I think the saddest thing as a fan is the fact that she's frozen in time. It's so sad when I think about it. Like I won't see her evolution. I won't see her get old. I will, but I'll be able to now bless my daughter and my nieces with what I know of Selena. And when they go down that rabbit hole, you know, they can say, wow, like this is Selena, like she's awesome, you know, and we're gonna have to tell her the sad ending about it, but just the fact that her music lives on. And I mean, right now there's so many homages to her. There's even a class in San Antonio at the University of San Antonio. You can take a Selena course.
Oh, that's dope.
Isn't that dope? And it's not just about Selena. I mean, it is all about Selena, but it's not just about her being an artist. It's about who she embodies as a woman, as a Hispanic woman, you know. And so they study everything. They study her music, they study her fashions, they study her business dealings, they study everything. And you can really take a college course for Selena. They did the same thing for Beyonce and her Lemonade album. They did a whole class on it. And so the one of the professors said, we need to do this for Selena, and they did that for her. So I mean, MAC Cosmetics came out with a whole Selena line because she's
Wow.
signaturely known for her bold red lipstick. You know, she had her bustiers that were all bedazzled, and sometimes a matching hat that was bedazzled. And right now there's so many women and girls that are dressing as Selena because she was just iconic. She's timeless, you know. And that's what I mean, she's frozen in time.
Absolutely. And I mean, she was so ahead of her time. Like we hear about, when somebody that's in the music industry doing fashion, first thing that comes to mind is Puff, right? And then
Right.
Kanye and other rappers. But Selena did this first. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
man.
she had so many different avenues, always kept busy. So thank
Hmm.
you for sharing that. I definitely appreciate that.
For sure.
Kay, you come from a different background and you're a Selena fan.
I
So
am.
how did that impact you when you heard about what happened?
I think I was like 12, and I don't know Spanish. Hell, I still don't know Spanish too well. But I know I just seen this fine ass woman,
Hmm.
and she was singing with two twins, I believe they were. And I will always see her videos on MTV and some Latino channel back then. They had like a Latino music channel, and they always play Selena.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what she was saying in any of her music. Not a clue. But I was frozen to the TV every time she was on. Like
It
I
captivated
just
you. It caught
yeah.
your attention.
Hmm.
So something that I find weird, and if your viewers haven't caught on already, like me and Chachi were brother and sister. Me and Kay, we've been best friends for years. But Selena's Mexican,
Hmm.
She
right?
is.
And she's got Puerto Rican fans. She's got black fans. She's got all the races backing her.
Hmm.
And you don't really see this. Like the only other artist I can really think of is like Michael Jackson kind of status. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
got all these different cultures that are backing you. What do you think set her apart? What's so special about her? If you can captivate her into one sentence, what is Selena?
Is that for me?
Yep.
Oh. um I think that I feel like in one sentence, um Selena Selena was and is the definition of a powerful woman. And I think that that speaks levels in any language, in any race. When you see a woman in power who's humble, I mean, when I say humble, I just think of her as like a delicate rose. I think of her as she came from the dirt, she literally had nothing and she sprouted and she literally put in so much hard work. Her and her family, they would do hours. I mean, just like the Jacksons, they were rehearsing nonstop, and I think it's so easy to look at the parents and be like, you were working them too hard. But you can't blame Joe Jackson. You can't blame Abraham Quintanilla. Those are powerhouses. Like I've literally have not have heard of another parent that has put in so much work and dedication into their child to become that high level of a star. You don't hear that nowadays, you know? And so I mean, honestly, I think of Selena as a delicate flower. And unfortunately, because of what has happened, this tragic ending, gone too soon, we won't see what that flower turns into. But we'll always know that she stood in her power. She stood for everything that embodies a powerful woman, and being a brown woman at that. She paved the way for so many people. So many people. There's every Latin artist that you hear of now will always say Selena was my idol. Selena was who I looked up to. So many artists. I mean, I've seen interviews. Carol G has a whole tattoo of her, you know, Becky G, Selena Gomez, J Lo. It's like nonstop. You pay respects where respect is due. You know, and I mean, same for me. Like literally, I say it's so funny. No one believes me, but Michael Jackson taught me how to moonwalk. Selena taught me how to sing. She taught me what it is to be a woman in the music industry in power.
Nice, nice. Very well put.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely rest in peace, Selena. Our heart goes out to you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you definitely played a big, Selena's played a big role in your heart. So you mentioned singing a couple times. So, you are an artist. Where can people listen to your stuff?
I am on all digital platforms. Um, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spotify. My artist name is Chachi, and my YouTube tag is at Chabeli Chachi. And listen to my single "Alive with You."
Awesome. Definitely will do. So thank you so much for blessing us today. We
Thank
appreciate that.
you.
Kay, any last words?
Uh, just check her out. Sis is talented.
Absolutely. So leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about the pod. If you have any questions for Chachi, for Kay, for me, leave it in the comments. You can also reach out to us directly at thejktheory@gmail.com. And until next time, that's Chachi. I'm Jay,
I'm K.
and this is the JK Theory. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
It has not been
But
recorded.
there's the timer. God damn.